Hello and welcome back to more Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. So the goal for today's episode is to get through the first urgent quest. However, first we're going to talk about some Palicos. So let's head over to the ranch. Alright, so there's a lot of people to talk to here, so let's get started with this guy. Greetings and Meowlu. Oh, I give up. Welcome to the Palico Ranch. Here we have plenty of places for your Palicos to keep themselves busy. What? I mean, yeah. You know what a Palico is, right? You've got to be kidding me. Shall I explain the basics about Palicos? Sure. Like its name suggests, a Palico is a pal that's constantly by your side. Kinda like a good friend. Deck them out in Palico gear from the armory, and they can join you on quests and help hunt. Use the facilities here to improve your Palico's performance out in the field. Oops, I almost forgot something really important. Have you hired a Palico already? Already? If you haven't hired one, I recommend that you take care of that right now. Fortunately, you only need to talk to a Palico scout to get some assistance. When you visit the Palico Ranch, the Meowstress is the scout to talk to. She's right over there. There are also plenty of other facilities here to help you with whatever you find yourself in need of. Yeah. There's the trader to purchase items, and the Palico board, which lets you manage Palicos as well. I've mostly, meowsly covered what I need to say, but know that some actions require you to use Academy points. Since it's your first time, I'm presenting... Just take these Academy points. Alright, well, up next, we've got this guy. You may know this guy from Monster Hunter Tri if you've played that.
Salutation. No, let Neko start over. Konnichiwa. Yes, that's better. My name is Neko. Neko runs trader. Neko very familiar with hunters. You Academy Hunter? Hunter? Academy is very important client of trader. Nah? You don't know purpose of trader? Mundane. No problem. Neko explain to you everything. First, let's discuss other items. You can send Palico for Bueke to get items. Bueke means trade. Currently, you can only trade with Sunsnake Fame. However, that change in future. I'll work my trader magic for you. Sugi, the next topic we discuss is exchange for items. You give Neko Shano Academy points, and Neko give goods in exchange. To earn Academy points, finish quest or help To earn Academy points, finish quests or help Komataro villages. When people in trouble, you help now. Select Hunter info from Hunter's notes in the state menu to learn about the Academy points. Sago. Neko explain about the requests last. Villagers leave requests here with Neko. Oh, sorry. Almost forget. You can also use trader from home, prep area or housekeeper too. Onaga, visit Neko at trader again. A sign of friendship, Neko give you Lagna Apple now. If you use Lagna Apple when preparing a trade order, you're still able to better from your items. So good is great. If you want to know more, perhaps you find info in help section now. Gambare. Gambare means break a leg.
So a lot of this stuff here costs quite a significant amount of points, so we're going to come back to this in a future episode. Right, that guy was a bit of a mouthful, so let's just get to the Meowstress. What's this? A new face? Oh, I could shout. Hello, I am the Meowstress, the Palico Scout. Scouts like me search the land far and wide for just the right felines to put by your side. These palicos aid you in hunting and more. Their uses are many, functions galore. To start the recruitment, just select hire, and then choose the palicos that you desire. Of course, you don't have to choose those that I found. Simply choose Scout a Palico and I'll search around. And after some time, say the length of a quest, I'll be back with a custom picked litter. Impressed? And once you have chosen your Palico horde, you can manage them all at the Palico board. As a sign of our friendship, a proof of our ties, let me find you your first of the cute little guys. Bobtail striped, 2 spots or 3, name it, I'll find it. Now what'll it be? If you still have a question or seek words more precise, just pick the help option for tips and advice. Not one of the felines I find is a quitter. Have a look and you'll see, take your pick of the litter. With all that rhyming out of the way, we now get to pick what kind of Palico we'd like. So give me a minute. Alright, this cat's gonna have to do for now. Alright, simple. Now don't move an inch, I'll be back soon. This one's a cinch. Here we are, matched right down to the furry ears and ends. I hope you'll be the best of friends. Name the Palico? Heck yeah. I can't think of anything better right now, and I'm most likely going to be swapping between Palicos quite a lot. So, again, if you have any suggestions for names, I'll be glad to make a Palico out of them. Once you're ready to hire more, you know who to come looking for. Have you heard of Prowlers, dear? They're felines even most monsters could fear. When a feline takes up the Prowler's role, he's filled with the fire of a hunter's soul. Whenever you need a Palico to spot for you, say if you get tired, just choose a Prowler from those you have hired. I'm sure there must be quite a few of the deers who are itching to start their own questing careers. From the Palico board to select, these switch to Prowler/Hunter subject. That one didn't rhyme, actually. What the heck? Hang on. That one's a bit of a stretch. Pick your Prowler, then switch mode too. And you're all set, all done. You can switch back when you're through. If you have any questions, or if you're just bored, try selecting help at the Palico board. As always, dear hunter, if it's felines you need, just come speak with me, and I'll find them with speed. Are leaving so soon? Come again then, okay? I'll always be here, all day, every day. Alright, before getting put into rhyming hell again, let me just talk about what she just said. So, I'm not going to go too in-depth with Palicos just yet until a future episode, but for right now I'll give a brief overview. For starters, there are several different types of Palicos. You have Charisma, Fighting, Protection, Assistance, Healing, Bombing, Gathering, and Beast. They all have a variety of different skills, as well as different playstyles too. You can choose to switch between your Hunter and a Palico, which then puts you in Prowler mode. I'd argue that Prowler mode is the elusive 15th weapon in the series. I'm not talking about Tonfas, and I'm not talking about that magnet thing from Frontiers either. While playing as a Palico, you have a wide variety of support skills, mainly for supporting other hunters. However, you can also just use Prowler mode with several other Palicos as well, if you wish to play like that. You can go through the entire game as a Palico if you choose to do so. The main trade-off is the fact that you're getting rid of a lot of your damage. It is still possible for Palicos to output decent damage. However, that requires a lot of min-maxing with skills, and that's a big conversation. I promise you in a future episode, I will go in more detail when it comes to the support items and support skills that Palicos can have, as well as the different playstyles for the different Palicos. However, I want to actually build up a backlog of Palicos that I can swap to when I get to that point. Anyway, I think that wraps up the brief little description I want to talk about. So, what other rhymes does the Meowstress have for me now? Oh, Hunter, thank heavens you're here. I have something to ask of you, dear. The chief mentioned you, guessing and saying that you might be up for some quick jaggy slaying. You see, some precious felines were on their way here, then whoa, catastrophe struck in the Jurassic frontier. They meant to head east, but instead they went west, right into a dire, jaggy nest. Please, Hunter, may we count on your aid? Alone they won't last too long, I'm afraid. Here, let my pen take a short jog across the pages of your request log. The request log, don't you know? It's simply the best. It can detail all of your village requests. First, from the start menu, select Hunter's Notes, if you please. And then select Request Log to view details with ease. It lists the requirements, rewards, and the client, so I'm sure it's something which you'll be reliant. Go to the quest counter and look through the quest to find the one for helping get rid of the vile jaggy pests. Alright, before getting Sugar to speak these next lines, let's see what the Smithy has to say. Hey, Skippy! I guess it's about time I give you a little lesson on how upgrading works. But doing is learning, so once I've taught you the basics, try upgrading your own weapon. But nothing comes from nothing. You still need materials to do an upgrade, along with some zenny. You're on your own for the materials, but you're a hunter. You can figure it out. Once you got what you need, select upgrade equipment, then the item you want to upgrade. Sometimes the materials needed for something can be mixed and matched from a material type. Every material has a material type and value indicating how much it will contribute to an upgrade. Bring me enough materials from the material type to satisfy the value requirement, and you're all set. You can open the help menu and read up on the material values if you're still unclear on it. Alright, enough yammering. Hand over some of those materials and I can show you Manville in action. I've got a feeling whatever I make's gonna be put to good use in your hands. Well, Skippy, what's it gonna be today? So basically what he said was that certain upgrades have a non-specific material requirement, which you can just substitute for anything from a monster or whatever he asks for, basically. Funnily enough, I can actually upgrade the light bowgun. Unfortunately, I don't have the money. Alright, never mind about the upgrade, I'll worry about that later. I need money. Alright, back to learning about that urgent quest.
Hi, Hunter person. The Meowstress tells me she's got a request for you. Any requests you get are sent out to the quest counters in the villages or Hunter's Hub. I marked the Meowstress's quest with a yellow bubble so you can keep track of it. Requests from others will be marked the same way. Makes them easy to find. Your tasks will vary from boring ol' go find a mushroom to kill that monster right in the face. And if you forget what to do, the info is kept in the request log inside your hunter's notes. Well, I'm in the middle of planning this campaign, so you run along and take care of the Meowstress's request. Anyway, here's all of the questing action lined up for you today.
You know, the Bherna Gal keeps talking about this big campaign she has to plan. I wonder if she's planning the, you know, the campaign. Like the main story for the game. That kind of campaign. I don't know why that never occurred to me before. So, the quest we have to do is another pack attack. And let's see who requested this. I mean, we already know, but... the Meowstress, of course. Oh my god, this is also written in rhymes. In the frontier there are felines in trouble. Gather your things and depart on the double. Once you have saved them from certain defeat, come to see me for a sweet little treat. Ooh, it's at nighttime actually. I didn't notice that. Alright, so presumably all of the jaggies are going to be down at the lower depths. Because during that mushroom quest from the other day, there were a lot down there. And I imagine that's where we're going to have to go. Oh, there's some in Area 3 actually. I might as well carve them too. Oh, there's also some in Area 8 as well. Oh, and even more in Area 9. Seems to be quite a few going down here. Ooh, there are some in Area 11 as well. Wow, okay. Yeah, this is where I thought they were all going to be. But I suppose there's enough to finish the quest here. Well, there it is. All of the Jaggies have been defeated. Also, this thing looks different at night. That was lucky. What a nice looking end screen that is. Alright, now that we completed the Meowstress's request, let's go see what she has to say. Oh boy, more talking. Alright. Hi, Hunter! I've got some excellent news. We've just opened the Palico Dojo. It's a place to train your Palicos. Use it effectively, and your Palicos will be a force to be reckoned with. There are two main menus in the dojo, lessons and special training. Lessons make it possible to take a young Palico and teach it new support moves and Palico skills. Special training helps you speed up a Palico's growth and recovery. Yeah. To use the Palico Dojo, approach the signboard to the left and press the A button to confirm. If you need a more in-depth explanation, you can always check help. In celebration of the Palico Dojo's anniversary, I've got some free Academy points for you. Enjoy! 100 and more info! Nyalo, Hunter! Or should that have been Nyalo? Anyway, I have to introduce you to the Palico Dojo menu. Intro muse? Anyway, you know the special training option? That's what I'm going to explain. Yes. In special training, you'll find an option called change support / skill. Still with me so far? I mean, fur? There's a whole kit and caboodle. No, kitten caboodle? Kitten cat boodle? Ugh. You can do a lot with this option, okay? So first, choose a support move or skill. Do we say support, not support? I can never remember. Then the Palico can learn a different support move or skill to replace the one you chose. Yeah. What they'll learn in exchange is sort of a meowstery. It all depends on the Palico. It's more an art than a science. Oh. But if you use a feline codex, then you can choose what gets relearned, which is nice. You can change support moves or skills once per quest, so choose wisely, I guess. Yeah. Oh, and because it counts as special training, you'll have to spend some Academy points on it. that's all. Bye for meow. Throughout this playthrough, I'm not going to worry too much about the dojo, because a lucky friend of mine was able to get Gaijin Hunter's cats. I don't know if you're familiar with Gaijin Hunter, but he's a very popular Monster Hunter YouTuber who does a bunch of guide videos and stuff like that, and ended up creating a bunch of different palicos for each different type. A friend of mine got those palicos, and we've been exchanging them back and forth throughout different save files. So I'll be sure to get those off him at some point. Oh goody, more rhymes! Oh, Hunter Terrific! You're back safe and sound! And you pounded those Jaggy right into the ground! Surely your coming to Bherna was fateful. You saved the poor felines, and we're all oh so grateful. As thanks, I do hope you'll take a reward of a few things that I'd like to accord. First is a treat, a sweet batch of honey, and Academy points, which are sort of like money. You can spend them for things at the bistro or trader, and if you ever run out, just get some more later. Thanks again, Hunter. We're deep in your debt. I'm sure that I'll see more of you yet. Alright, now that that little side tangent is out of the way, what's up next?
Ah, Hunter, your timing could not be any better. The chief researcher has just informed me a bit of a dilemma out in the Jurassic frontier. A bird wyvern called a Great Maccao is impeding the Academy survey team's research out there. It is vital that his research continue unobstructed. I have posted an urgent quest for you to hunt this monster. But be careful, Great Maccao are known to lead packs of smaller Maccao, and can easily overwhelm you with their numbers. Prepare yourself well before you depart, Hunter. You can find the urgent quest at the quest counter. Good luck.
Hi, Hunter person. Wow, it looks like the chief's got an urgent quest for you. Let me go over how this works. After completing specific quests for the guild, an urgent quest will pop up. Once you complete it, you'll be able to take on a higher tier of quests. Think of it as proving your skill as a hunter. But before you get aspirations of greatness, you've got to take care of a Great Maccao. Be careful. They look all cute and feathery from a distance, but up close they are giant murder birds. With claws that'll rip your face right off. Try to come back with your face, okay? We need it for our campaign.
Alright, with all that out of the way, I actually didn't notice before that they made reference of the existence of key quests. Look, I'll be honest, when I played this game for the first time, I just kind of skimmed through all of the dialogue without reading any of it. I apologize. Anyway, it's worth noting that the hunt of the day is actually a Great Maccao. You can see at the top of the screen. And it's also our urgent quest. So it's actually marked in the hunt of the day quests that contain a Great Maccao. Now, let's see who requested the quest. Well, the Bherna Chief, of course.
We've had a request come in from the Academy asking you to hunt a Great Maccao. The beast has been terrorizing their research team. Take care of it and you'll be able to take on more difficult quests.
Again, it's worth mentioning that in order to unlock this quest, all you had to do was find the ferns, wipe out, which unlocks the other pack attack, and then you get this urgent quest. I didn't notice that this guy wanted to talk to me as well, actually.
Well, there you are, Deputy. I have some new reports for you to review. There, I've added the data to the monster list in your hunter's notes in the start menu. I trust you've been making extensive observational notes yourself. I'll have new reports for you soon.
Oh, he actually gives you info on the Great Maccao before you go and do it. Well, this episode is brought to you by the Great Maccao, leader of the pack hunting Maccao. The Great Maccao is easily spotted by its large size and feather-like yellow crest. It can balance on its tail and spring forward for a deadly strike. But, when weakened, its lesser Maccao cousins are quick to turn tail and run. Timing is everything. Attacking a Great Maccao in midair during its springing tail leap will cause it to lose balance and fall over. So try to strike it before it lands. Just be careful not to get a face full of claws attempting it. Alright, so the first actual big monster. Let's begin. Oh, there's some smaller Maccao over here. Well, if you're wondering, the monster is over in Area 5. Uh-oh, I forgot to reload, of course. Classic mistake. I kind of forgot to explain how mounting works. So, in the air, if you were to... Blah. That was silly. If you were to do an aerial attack, in the case of the light bowgun, it's the aerial reload or a jump shot. Each one of those will perform a mounting attack, which is dictated by the long line that you see when hitting the monster. Now, the way mounting works is basically like any other status in the game. It fills up a hidden meter, and once the meter is full, the monster falls over, and if you're close enough, you will jump onto the monster. While mounted on a monster, you can mash the X button to build up the small gauge you see at the bottom. However, the monster is also struggling to try and shake you off. So, if the little head down the bottom is blue, then you're free to mash X and build it up as much as you can. If it turns red, that means you need to hold the R button, or whatever you use for sprinting, to grab hold of the monster, which changes the icon to orange, slowing its progression. Once the monster stops shaking you, it turns back to blue, and you can continue attacking. Successfully completing a mount results in it getting knocked down, allowing you to wail on it for some extra damage. Ooh, and it looks like he's tired right now as well. You can tell by the drool coming out of his mouth. He's a bit hungry, a bit exhausted. Oh, and he's limping as well. That was a lot faster than I thought, if I'll be totally honest with you. if you let a monster continue to limp away, they will eventually go back to their nest. And if you give them enough time before entering the area, they will fall asleep. There are some advantages to a monster being asleep, especially if you're using a weapon like a greatsword, or have some large barrel bombs with you. Ooh. And just like that, it's asleep. While a monster is asleep, it does regain stamina, and it does also regain health. In a very small amount. When waking up a monster that is sleeping, your first attack that hits will do double damage. So that's why it's important to either wake it up with a greatsword, or a big charge attack with a hammer, or just a large barrel bomb, for example. But I don't have any of that, unfortunately. So I'm just going to hit him with a normal shot, I guess. And there it is. Bit of a hectic little finale there, but that's fine. I also totally forgot there was a subquest to defeat 5 just regular Maccaos, the little ones. I'm actually shocked I didn't do that during the fight. I might quickly see if I can go back and do that. Oh wait, hold up. Maybe, if I'm really lucky. Oh, interesting. If you complete the subquest after completing the main quest, it doesn't actually, like, say that you completed it. Huh. What a nice looking background that one is.
Welcome back, Hunter. I am relieved to see you safe and sound. A magnificent work hunting the Great Maccao. Now the survey team may continue their work unobstructed, thanks to you. You've proven yourself worthy of being called a Academy Hunter. I'm sure the chief researcher agrees.
Well, great work, Deputy. You certainly went out and proved brains over brawn. By the way, I've just finished all your paperwork. You're officially my new assistant. Congratulations. We could worry about the handling fees for the paperwork later. Welcome aboard, Deputy. Welcome aboard.
I'm sure he only misspoke in calling you his assistant. At any rate, your work as a Academy Hunter will be vital. You'll find 2 star quests available to you now. I believe the Bherna Gal can give you more detailed information.
I've also made preparations to have you conduct survey work in other villages. Kokoto, Poke, and Yukumo. Perhaps you've heard of them? Anyway, each of the chiefs will be expecting you.
Those other villages are in great need of your help. Luckily, I've already gotten permission for you to use the airship. The airship will fly you to other villages in a flash. See the flight attendant for more information. I also have something for you. A charm. They're usually found from mining and as quest rewards. Once its abilities have been appraised, it can be equipped as a talisman to give skill points. Consider it a small token of my appreciation. Good luck, Hunter. I'm sure we'll meet again soon.
Wow, okay, so there's a lot to talk about. So first off, let's just check out what the talisman was, because that's a good segue into talking about armor skills. What the Bherna Chief just gave us was a talisman with a gathering plus 10. So let's talk about armor skills for a minute. So, you may have already noticed that each piece of armor gives you a certain amount of skill points. In the status screen, if you scroll all the way across, you can see all these points adding up. Now, unlike modern Monster Hunter games, in old school Monster Hunter, in order to activate a certain skill, you need to have at least 10 points in that skill in order to get it active. Some skills are allowed to go above 10 points, giving you an extra bonus. So, for example, the new Gathering Talisman, which gave plus 10 to Gathering, instantly activates the Gathering plus 1 skill. For information, you can press Y, and it's a skill that affects the number of times you can gather or mine, except in special cases. It's a skill that lets you gather an extra time from mining or just gathering zones. And as you can see, if you got the skill to plus 15, it'll change it into Gathering plus 2, which gives you 2 additional chances to gather from either a herb spot or like a mining spot or something like that. The other skill that you get given with your starting equipment is called Divine Blessing. You may have seen this proc a few times during that Great Maccao quest. Basically, whenever you get hit, there's a set chance of activating like the little white sparkle that happens, which reduces the damage you would receive from that attack. It can save you a few times. It's also worth noting that for both of those skills, there is a negative as well. It is possible to get negative 10 points to a skill, which results in being bad at that specific thing. Like, for example, Demonic Blessing has a set chance to activate, which would increase the damage you take on occasion. Gathering -1 would net you less gathering opportunities from a gathering node. Some skills don't have a negative, like the fact that Horn Maestro is here. Horn Maestro is also not currently active because there's only a plus 6 coming from the waist piece, and it needs to be plus 10 in order to be active. Now, with all that out of the way, let's talk to the Smithy.
Hey, Skippy. I heard you brought pain on that Great Maccao hunt. Moving up in the world, eh? Still, you're probably ready to take it to the next level, so take this. It's an armor sphere. You can use it to strengthen your armor. You can use it to upgrade any armor that includes it on the required materials list, but it's one use only. You'll have to collect more, either by finding them in the field or collecting them as quest rewards. You can also combine them by mixing an armor stone with a piece of macrolite ore, or a shiny beetle. That glazed look in your eyes, well, I can see you're gonna have to review upgrading equipment under help. But you should just try upgrading something now. Well, like I've said before, doing is learning. Well, Skippy, what's it gonna be today?
I'm not going to worry too much about upgrading equipment, because using armor spheres to upgrade equipment isn't necessarily the best thing to do this early on in the game, mainly because if you were to just forge a new piece of armor, the Bherna helmet just has 2 defense as it stands currently, but something like the Maccao helmet, which we just fought, has 8 defense, which is significantly more and would save you on armor spheres in the long run. Now, speaking of the Maccao armor, let's look at what skills it provides. Well, again, this is starting armor pretty much, so it gives +3 to Volt. It's also worth noting on page 2, it tells you if it's for a Blade Master or a Gunner. In this case, the helmet and the cap are both for Blade Master and Gunner, and this goes for like pretty much any helmet in the game is both a Blade Master and a Gunner helmet. However, something like the chest piece instead is specifically for a Blade Master or specifically for a Gunner, but it still provides the same skill points, 4 to Volt and 1 to Drain. It's interesting that there are 2 types of Maccao arm pieces. This first one, the Maccao gauntlets and the Maccao gloves, they're from the smaller Maccaos that you fight, whereas the Maccao braces and the Maccao guards are part of the Great Maccao armor set. If you're wondering what these skills actually do, you can press the Y button on a applicable piece of armor. In this case, because I'm a Gunner, I have to select the Gunner armor, and it'll bring up that skill list again. And you can press Y again on the new skills if you want to see what they actually do. For example, Volt is not like Master Mounter. Instead, it increases the damage you do with jumping attacks. Quite good if you have aerial style. The other one, Stamina Thief, works better for weapons that are capable of doing high exhaust attacks. For example, a hunting horn can make good use of this. Same with a hammer. And if you have any like exhaust coatings on a bow, or exhaust shots with a bowgun, or even exhaust file with a switch axe. Oh, but first I should probably explain a few more things. I should have talked about this in the first episode, but you can just use money to buy some of the other early starting armor sets in the game from this guy, the Bherna Armory.
Yo! I heard you're really starting to make a name for yourself. Well, I've got some good news for you, hotshot hunter. Get this. I've got a slew of new weapons and armor in stock. Please, curb your excitement. There's new steel and bone weapons of each kind. Not sure which to buy? No problem, just buy both. I've also got the full hunter and bone armor sets. I can see the rampant desire on your face, so take a look. Here's what I've got for you. Step right up.
His inventory doesn't expand very much. It's only just for like starting equipment, pretty much. Again, all of these do have different skills, which are worth looking into. Like KO is quite good for a hammer. If you're starting with a hammer, you might as well switch to bone armor pretty early on to help you out. You can also buy the other starting weapons as well from this guy. So you have the cliche village specific starting weapon, in this case the fossil weapons. But you also have the standard iron weapon and standard bone weapon as well. I might actually grab the crossbow gun because I know what it turns into. The Bherna Gal wishes to speak once more.
Hi, Hunter person. I heard you're officially with the Y Academy now. We get a lot of applicants here, and I mean lots, but it's rare to see anyone get hired this fast. The guild usually has them chasing mushrooms for months, but I guess they think you've got potential. More importantly, you can take on 2-star quests now. Pretty nifty, huh? Oh, one more thing. You can also sign up for quests at the quest counters in other villages now. I mean, if you just want to leave me right in the middle of our PR campaign, that's cool, I guess. Anyway, here's all of the questing action lined up for you today.
Alright, so yes, 2-star quests are available now, and boy, they are a bit of a doozy. You may also notice that there's a special Prowler quest down here. These are only acceptable in Prowler mode. Hunters are not able to accept these ones. Now, I did say that just a minute ago, I wanted to get an armor upgrade. However, looking at the time, this is dragging out to be quite long. So instead, I'm going to have to save that for the next episode. So next episode's going to be a bit of a doozy, because now I intend to swap to a different style, as well as upgrade to a new armor set, and finish talking to every other resident that currently has a speech bubble above them. So, as always, if you didn't enjoy the video, don't leave a comment. If you hated the video as well, please dislike it. And if you're already previously subscribed, I would appreciate it if you were no longer subscribed. I have been told that reverse psychology works pretty well. With that said, I'll see you next time.